It was a scorching summer day when a group of rowdy bikers decided to visit the crowded beach. The leader of the pack, a burly man with a thick beard and tattoos covering his arms, revved his engine as they pulled into the parking lot. The other bikers followed suit, creating a deafening roar that drew the attention of everyone nearby. As they dismounted their bikes and surveyed the scene, the leader spotted a lone soldier sitting on the sand, enjoying his day off. The soldier, a tall, well-built man with short, cropped hair, was reading a book and seemed oblivious to the commotion around him. The leader nudged his fellow bikers and pointed at the soldier. "Check out that guy," he sneered. "Thinks he's too good for us, huh? Let's go teach him a lesson." The bikers approached the soldier, their heavy boots kicking up sand as they walked. They formed a loose semicircle around him, blocking his view of the ocean. The soldier looked up from his book, his eyes scanning the group of bikers warily. Well, the leader drawled. "What do we have here? A little soldier boy all alone on the beach." The soldier closed his book and set it aside. He stood up slowly, his muscles tensing beneath his t-shirt. "I don't want any trouble," he said calmly. "I'm just trying to enjoy my day off." The bikers laughed, a harsh, grating sound that carried across the beach. "Too bad," the leader said, "because trouble just found you." He took a step forward, his fists clenched at his sides. The other bikers followed suit, their faces twisted into menacing grins. The soldier held up his hands in a placating gesture. "Look, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm not interested in fighting. Just walk away, and we can all go about our business." The bikers ignored his words. They began to circle him, like sharks sizing up their prey. The leader lunged forward, throwing a punch at the soldier's face. But the soldier was too quick. He dodged the blow easily, his reflexes honed by years of military training. He grabbed the leader's arm and twisted it behind his back, forcing him to his knees. The other bikers charged forward, eager to avenge their fallen leader, but the soldier was ready for them. He met them head-on, his fists and feet flying in a blur of motion. One by one, the bikers fell to the ground, groaning in pain. The soldier moved with a fluid grace, his movements precise and controlled. He seemed to anticipate their every move, countering their attacks with ease. The leader struggled to his feet, his face red with anger and embarrassment. He pulled a knife from his pocket and lunged at the soldier, determined to end the fight once and for all. But the soldier was too quick. He sidestepped the attack and grabbed the leader's wrist, twisting it until the knife clattered to the ground. He then delivered a swift kick to the leader's chest, sending him flying backwards into the sand. The other bikers, seeing their leader defeated, began to back away slowly. They picked up their fallen comrades and retreated to their bikes, their tails tucked between their legs. The soldier watched them go, his chest heaving with exertion. He picked up his book and sat back down on the sand, as if nothing had happened. The other beachgoers, who had watched the entire scene unfold, began to cheer and applaud. They gathered around the soldier, thanking him for his bravery and his service to his country. The soldier just shook his head and smiled. "I was just doing what I was trained to do," he said modestly. "I'm just glad no one got hurt." As the crowd dispersed and the soldier returned to his book, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had faced down a group of thugs and emerged victorious, all while keeping his cool and his dignity intact. It was a testament to his training, his discipline, and his unwavering sense of justice. And as he sat there on the beach, the warm sun on his face and the sound of the waves crashing in his ears, he knew that he would always be ready to stand up for what was right, no matter the cost. The soldier, feeling a sense of satisfaction after handling the unruly bikers, returned to his spot on the beach. He picked up his book and tried to find his place, but his mind was still racing from the adrenaline of the confrontation. As he scanned the pages, he noticed a shadow looming over him. He looked up to see a young boy, no more than 10 years old, standing in front of him with a wide-eyed expression. "Mister, that was amazing," the boy exclaimed. "You took on all those bikers like a superhero." The soldier chuckled and motioned for the boy to sit down next to him. "I'm no superhero, kid. I just did what I had to do." The boy plopped down on the sand, his eyes still shining with admiration. "But you were so brave, and you didn't even look scared." The soldier smiled and shook his head. "Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do what you have to do, even when you're afraid." The boy nodded, his face scrunched up in concentration as he tried to understand the soldier's words. "I wish I could be brave like you." The soldier put a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You can be, kid. Bravery isn't about being the strongest or the toughest. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard." The boy's face lit up with a grin. "I think I understand now. Thanks, mister." With that, the boy jumped up and ran back to his family, his laughter ringing out across the beach. The soldier watched him go, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. He knew that the boy would face many challenges in his life, but he hoped that their brief conversation would stay with him and give him the courage to face them head-on. As the day wore on, the soldier found himself the center of attention on the beach. People kept coming up to him, thanking him for his bravery and asking him about his military service. He answered their questions politely, but tried to steer the conversation back to more mundane topics. He didn't want to be seen as a hero, just a man doing his duty. As the sun began to set, the soldier packed up his belongings and headed back to his car. He was looking forward to a quiet evening at home, away from the excitement of the day. But as he walked through the parking lot, he heard a familiar voice calling out to him. "Hey, soldier boy." He turned to see the leader of the biker gang, his face bruised and swollen from their earlier confrontation. The soldier tensed, ready for another fight, but the biker held up his hands in a gesture of surrender. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry," the biker said, his voice gruff with emotion. "We were way out of line today. We had no right to mess with you like that." The soldier regarded him warily, not sure if this was some kind of trick, but the biker's eyes were sincere, and his posture was slumped in defeat. "I appreciate the apology," the soldier said finally, "but let's make sure this doesn't happen again. There's no need for violence or intimidation, especially not on a public beach." The biker nodded, his gaze downcast. "You're right. We'll stay away from here from now on, and we'll make sure to spread the word to the other gangs in the area. You won't have any more trouble from us." The soldier nodded, a sense of relief washing over him. He knew that the biker's words were no guarantee, but it was a start. Maybe, just maybe, his actions today had made a difference. As he drove away from the beach, the soldier reflected on the day's events. He knew that he had done the right thing by standing up to the bikers, but he also knew that violence was never the answer. He hoped that his example would inspire others to stand up for what was right, even in the face of adversity. And as he watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, he knew that he would always be ready to defend those who couldn't defend themselves. It was his duty, not just as a soldier, but as a human being, and he would never shy away from that responsibility, no matter the cost. The next morning, the soldier woke up early, as was his habit from his military days. He made himself a simple breakfast of eggs and toast, then headed out for his daily run. As he jogged along the beach, he couldn't help but think about the events of the previous day. He wondered if the bikers had truly learned their lesson, or if they would be back to their old ways in no time. Lost in thought, the soldier almost didn't notice the small group of people gathered near the lifeguard stand. As he got closer, he realized that they were all wearing matching t-shirts with the logo of a local charity organization. Curious, he slowed to a walk and approached the group. "Excuse me," he said, tapping one of the volunteers on the shoulder. "What's going on here?" The volunteer, a middle-aged woman with short gray hair, turned to him with a smile. "We're organizing a beach cleanup today," she said. "We do this every month to help keep our beaches beautiful and safe for everyone." The soldier nodded, impressed by their dedication. "That's great," he said. "Is there anything I can do to help?" The woman's smile widened. "Absolutely. We can always use more volunteers. Here, take a trash bag and some globes." The soldier accepted the supplies and set to work, joining the other volunteers as they combed the beach for litter and debris. As he worked, he struck up conversations with some of the other volunteers, learning about their lives and their reasons for getting involved with the charity. One volunteer, a college student named Maria, told him about how she had grown up in a low-income neighborhood and had never had the opportunity to visit the beach until she started volunteering with the charity. "It's amazing how much a simple thing like a beach cleanup can change someone's life," she said. "It's given me a sense of purpose and a way to give back to my community." The soldier nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. He had joined the military for similar reasons, to serve his country and make a difference in the world. And now, here he was, doing the same thing on a smaller scale. As the day wore on, the soldier and the other volunteers made their way down the beach, filling bag after bag with trash and debris. They found everything from cigarette butts and plastic bottles to abandoned beach toys and even a few syringes. It was a sobering reminder of the impact that human activity could have on the environment. But as they worked, the soldier also noticed something else: the looks of gratitude and appreciation on the faces of the beachgoers who passed by. Many of them stopped to thank the volunteers for their hard work, and some even offered to help out themselves. It was a small thing, but it gave the soldier a sense of hope. Maybe, just maybe, there were more people out there who cared about making the world a better place than he had realized. As the sun began to set, the soldier and the other volunteers gathered back at the lifeguard's stand to tally up their haul. They had collected over a dozen bags of trash, and the beach looked noticeably cleaner than it had that morning. The volunteer coordinator, a retired school teacher named Mr. Johnson, gathered the group together for a final pep talk. "I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work today," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "You've made a real difference in our community, and I couldn't be more proud." The soldier felt a lump form in his throat as he listened to Mr. Johnson's words. He had always known that his military service was important, but he had never realized just how much of an impact one person could make, even in small ways. As he drove home that evening, the soldier felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that he couldn't single-handedly change the world, but he could make a difference in his own community, and he knew that he would continue to do so, one small act of kindness at a time. The following weekend, the soldier decided to take a break from his usual routine and explore more of the local area. He had heard about a nearby nature reserve that was supposed to be beautiful, and he figured it would be a good opportunity to clear his head and enjoy some peace and quiet. As he drove up the winding road to the reserve, he couldn't help but marvel at the stunning scenery. The road was flanked by tall trees and lush greenery, and every now and then he caught a glimpse of a sparkling stream or a distant mountain peak. When he finally arrived at the reserve, he parked his car and set off on one of the hiking trails. The trail was well maintained and easy to follow, and before long he found himself deep in the heart of the forest. As he walked, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the beauty of nature. The air was crisp and clean, and the only sounds were the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves in the breeze. It was a far cry from the chaos and noise of the city, and the soldier felt himself starting to relax for the first time in weeks. But as he rounded a bend in the trail, he suddenly heard a loud rustling sound coming from the bushes up ahead. Instinctively, he reached for his sidearm, but then he remembered that he was no longer in a combat zone. He was just a civilian now, out for a hike in the woods. Cautiously, he approached the bushes, peering through the leaves to see what had made the noise. To his surprise, he saw a young deer, its antlers just starting to grow in. The deer was munching on some leaves, seemingly oblivious to the soldier's presence. For a moment, the soldier just stood there, watching the deer in silence. It was a rare moment of peace and tranquility, and he savored it for as long as he could. Eventually, the deer looked up and saw him. It froze for a moment, its eyes wide with fear. Then it turned and bounded off into the woods, its white tail flashing as it disappeared into the foliage. The soldier watched it go, a small smile on his face. He had seen plenty of wildlife during his time in the military, but there was something special about seeing it in a place like this, where it was free to roam and live as nature intended. As he continued on his hike, the soldier's mind began to wander. He thought about his time in the military and the sacrifices he had made to serve his country. He thought about the friends he had lost and the ones who were still out there, fighting on the front lines. But he also thought about the future and what he wanted to do with his life now that he was back home. He had always dreamed of starting his own business, maybe a small shop where he could sell outdoor gear and share his love of nature with others. He knew it wouldn't be easy. Starting a business never was, but he also knew that he had the skills and the determination to make it work. And he had the support of his family and friends, who had always been there for him, no matter what. As the sun began to set and the soldier made his way back to the trailhead, he felt a sense of excitement and purpose that he hadn't felt in a long time. He knew that he had a long road ahead of him, but he also knew that he was ready for the challenge. And as he drove home that night, he couldn't help but feel grateful for the experiences he had had, both in the military and in his civilian life. They had shaped him into the man he was today, and they had given him the strength and the courage to face whatever lay ahead. He knew that there would be more challenges and obstacles to come, that was just part of life. But he also knew that he had the resilience and the determination to overcome them, no matter what. And so, as he pulled into his driveway and turned off the engine, the soldier took a deep breath and smiled. He was ready for whatever the future had in store, and he knew that he would face it head-on, with the same bravery and integrity that had served him so well in the past. Over the next few weeks, the soldier threw himself into planning for his new business venture. He spent long hours researching outdoor gear suppliers, scouting out potential locations for his shop, and crunching numbers to make sure he had a solid business plan. It was hard work, but it was also exhilarating. For the first time in a long time, the soldier felt like he had a clear sense of purpose and direction. He was no longer just drifting through life, waiting for something to happen. He was taking control of his own destiny. One day, as he was out for his usual morning run on the beach, he spotted a familiar figure in the distance. As he got closer, he realized it was Maria, the college student he had met during the beach cleanup a few weeks earlier. "Hey there," he called out, slowing to a jog as he approached her. "Fancy seeing you here." Maria turned and smiled when she saw him. "Well, hello again. Out for your morning run, I see." The soldier nodded, catching his breath. "Yeah, it's become a bit of a habit. Helps me clear my head and start the day off right." Maria nodded. "I know what you mean. I've been trying to get into a regular exercise routine myself. It's not always easy, but it's worth it." The two fell into step together, chatting as they walked along the beach. The soldier told Maria about his plans for his new business, and she listened intently, offering suggestions and encouragement. "That sounds amazing," she said when he finished. "I think you're really onto something. There's definitely a market for outdoor gear around here, especially with all the hiking and camping opportunities in the area." The soldier beamed at her words. It was one thing to believe in his own idea, but hearing someone else validate it was a huge boost to his confidence. As they walked and talked, the soldier found himself opening up to Maria in a way he hadn't with anyone else. He told her about his time in the military, the challenges he had faced, and the struggles he still grappled with as a veteran. Maria listened without judgment, offering words of support and understanding. She told him about her own challenges as a first-generation college student, and how she sometimes felt like she was carrying the weight of her entire family's hopes and dreams on her shoulders. By the time they reached the end of the beach, the soldier felt like he had known Maria for years. There was an ease and comfort to their conversation that he hadn't experienced with anyone in a long time. As they said their goodbyes and went their separate ways, the soldier couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and possibility. He had a new friend, a new business venture, and a new lease on life. Over the next few months, the soldier poured all of his energy and focus into getting his business off the ground. He found a perfect location for his shop, a small storefront in the heart of the town's outdoor recreation district. He secured suppliers, hired staff, and started marketing his grand opening. Through it all, Maria was there, offering support and encouragement whenever he needed it. She helped him brainstorm marketing ideas, connected him with other local business owners, and even volunteered to work a few shifts in the shop when he was short-staffed. The soldier was grateful for her friendship and support, but he also couldn't help but feel a growing attraction to her. She was smart, funny, and passionate about making a difference in the world. He found himself looking forward to their conversations and cherishing the time they spent together. But he also knew that he needed to focus on his business right now. He couldn't afford any distractions, no matter how tempting they might be. And so, he threw himself into his work, putting in long hours and pouring his heart and soul into making his dream a reality. And when the day of his grand opening finally arrived, he felt a sense of pride and accomplishment that he had never experienced before. As he stood at the front of his shop, surrounded by friends, family, and customers, he knew that he had finally found his place in the world. And he knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, he had the strength, the courage, and the support to face them head-on. The grand opening of the soldier's outdoor gear shop was a resounding success. The community came out in force to support the new business, and the soldier was overwhelmed by the outpouring of encouragement and well wishes from his friends, family, and neighbors. As he stood at the front of the shop, greeting customers and thanking them for their support, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. He had taken a risk, followed his dreams, and created something tangible and meaningful. But he also knew that the hard work was just beginning. Running a small business was no easy feat, and he would need to put in long hours and make difficult decisions to keep things afloat. Luckily, he had a strong support system to help him along the way. Maria had become an invaluable partner in the business, helping with everything from inventory management to customer service. The soldier was grateful for her dedication and hard work, and he knew that he couldn't have done it without her. As the weeks turned into months, the soldier settled into a new routine. He would wake up early, go for his morning run on the beach, and then head to the shop to open up for the day. He would spend long hours on his feet, helping customers find the perfect gear for their outdoor adventures and sharing his own experiences and knowledge. In the evenings, he would often meet up with Maria and other friends for dinner or drinks, swapping stories and laughing together. The soldier found himself looking forward to these moments of camaraderie and connection, and he realized that he had found a new sense of purpose and belonging in his community. But even as he enjoyed his new life, the soldier never forgot about his experiences in the military. He would often think about his fellow soldiers, wondering how they were doing and if they had found their own paths to healing and happiness. One day, as he was cleaning up the shop after a busy Saturday, he heard a knock on the front door. When he opened it, he was surprised to see a group of young men standing there, looking nervous and unsure. "Can I help you?" the soldier asked, stepping outside to greet them. One of the young men stepped forward, clearing his throat. "We heard about your shop," he said, "and we were wondering if you might be able to help us out." The soldier looked at the group more closely, and he realized that they were all wearing military-style clothing and carrying backpacks. His heart skipped a beat as he realized who they were. "You're veterans," he said softly. "Just like me." The young man nodded. "We just got back from deployment," he said, "and we're trying to figure out what to do next. We heard that you might be able to give us some advice." The soldier felt a lump form in his throat as he looked at the group of young men. He saw himself in their eyes, the uncertainty, the fear, the hope for a better future. Without hesitation, he invited them inside the shop. For the next few hours, he listened to their stories, offered advice and encouragement, and helped them pick out gear for their next outdoor adventure. As the sun began to set and the young men prepared to leave, the soldier felt a sense of deep satisfaction and purpose. He had been given a second chance at life, and he was using it to make a difference in the lives of others. From that day forward, the soldier's shop became more than just a place to buy outdoor gear. It became a gathering place for veterans and their families, a safe space where they could share their stories, find support and encouragement, and begin to heal from the wounds of war. And as the soldier looked out over his shop, filled with the laughter and chatter of his customers and friends, he knew that he had finally found his true calling. He had served his country with honor and bravery, and now he was serving his community with love and compassion. It was a journey that had taken him from the depths of despair to the heights of hope, and he knew that he would never forget the lessons he had learned along the way. With a smile on his face and a sense of purpose in his heart, the soldier looked to the future, ready for whatever challenges and adventures lay ahead. As the soldier's business continued to thrive, he found himself becoming more and more involved in the local veteran community. He started attending meetings and events, connecting with other veterans and learning about the challenges they faced as they transitioned back to civilian life. Through these conversations, the soldier realized that many veterans were struggling with the same issues he had faced when he first returned home: feelings of isolation, anxiety, and a lack of purpose. He knew that he had been lucky to find his own path to healing through his business and his friendships, but he also knew that not everyone had access to those same resources. So, he decided to take action. With the help of Maria and a few other close friends, he started a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting veterans in his community. They called it Homeward Bound, a name that spoke to the journey that every veteran takes as they navigate the challenges of life after service. At first, the organization was small, just a few volunteers meeting in the back room of the soldier's shop. But as word spread, more and more veterans started showing up, eager to connect with others who understood their experiences and struggles. The soldier and his team started organizing events and outings, hiking trips, fishing expeditions, and camping retreats, designed to bring veterans together and help them build new friendships and support networks. They'd also started offering workshops and classes on topics like resume writing, job interviewing, and financial management, helping veterans develop the skills they needed to succeed in the civilian world. As Homeward Bound grew, the soldier found himself taking on a new role, that of a mentor and leader. He started giving speeches at local schools and community events, sharing his own story of resilience and encouraging others to never give up on their dreams. Through it all, Maria was by his side, offering support and encouragement every step of the way. The soldier knew that he couldn't have done it without her, and he was grateful for her friendship and partnership. But as the months passed, the soldier started to realize that his feelings for Maria had grown into something deeper. He found himself thinking about her constantly, looking forward to their conversations and cherishing the moments they spent together. One evening, as they were closing up the shop after a long day, the soldier finally found the courage to tell her how he felt. He took her hand in his, looking into her eyes with a mixture of nervousness and hope. "Maria," he said softly, "I need to tell you something. These past few months, working with you, getting to know you, it's been the best time of my life. And I've realized that I care about you as more than just a friend. I think I'm falling in love with you." Maria's eyes widened in surprise, but then a small smile spread across her face. "I feel the same way," she said softly. "I've been trying to find the right way to tell you, but I was afraid of ruining our friendship. But now I know that our friendship is just the beginning of something even more beautiful." The soldier felt his heart swell with joy and relief. He pulled Maria into his arms, holding her close as they laughed and cried together. From that moment on, the soldier and Maria were inseparable. They worked together, played together, and dreamed together, building a life filled with love, purpose, and adventure. And as the years passed, the soldier knew that he had finally found his true home, not just in the small town by the beach, but in the hearts of the people he loved and the community he served. Looking back on his journey, the soldier realized that every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt and fear had been leading him to this moment. He had faced his demons, confronted his past, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than ever before. And now, as he looked out over the ocean, watching the sun dip below the horizon, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be. With Maria by his side, his friends and family surrounding him, and a sense of purpose guiding his every step, the soldier knew that he could face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to making the world a better place, one day at a time. As the soldier and Maria's relationship blossomed, so too did their commitment to serving the veteran community. They poured their hearts and souls into Homeward Bound, working tirelessly to create programs and services that would make a real difference in the lives of those who had served. One of their most successful initiatives was a mentorship program that paired experienced veterans with those who were just beginning their journey back to civilian life. The soldier knew firsthand how valuable it could be to have someone to turn to for guidance and support, and he was determined to provide that same level of care to others. Through the mentorship program, the soldier met a young veteran named Jack who had recently returned from a deployment in Afghanistan. Jack was struggling with PTSD and having a hard time adjusting to life back home. He was withdrawn, anxious, and struggling to find his place in the world. The soldier took Jack under his wing, meeting with him regularly and offering guidance and support. He encouraged Jack to join Homeward Bound's outdoor excursions, knowing that the peace and beauty of nature could be a powerful tool for healing. At first, Jack was hesitant to participate, but with the soldier's gentle encouragement, he slowly started to come out of his shell. He joined the soldier on hikes through the mountains, fishing trips on the lake, and camping expeditions under the stars. Through these experiences, Jack started to rediscover a sense of joy and purpose that he had lost during his time in the military. He made new friends, learned new skills, and started to feel like he was part of something bigger than himself. The soldier watched with pride as Jack started to thrive, taking on leadership roles within Homeward Bound and even starting his own small business. He knew that Jack's success was a testament to the power of community and connection, and he was grateful to have played a small part in his journey. As the years passed, the soldier and Maria's love for each other only grew stronger. They got married in a small ceremony on the beach, surrounded by their closest friends and family. They bought a house together, filling it with laughter, love, and the joyful chaos of their busy lives. Through it all, they never lost sight of their mission to serve others. They expanded Homeward Bound's programs, partnering with local businesses and organizations to create job training and placement services for veterans. They started a scholarship fund to help veterans pursue their education and career goals. They even opened a second location of the soldier's outdoor gear shop, employing veterans and providing them with valuable job skills and experience. But even as their lives became busier and more complex, the soldier and Maria always made time for each other. They took long walks on the beach, shared quiet moments over coffee in the morning, and planned adventures together whenever they could steal a few days away. They'd also made sure to stay connected to the veteran community, attending events and gatherings whenever possible. They knew that the bonds they had formed through Homeward Bound were some of the most important relationships in their lives, and they were determined to nurture and sustain them. And so, as the soldier looked back on his journey, from the darkness of his past to the bright, beautiful present he had created with Maria, he knew that he had found his true calling. He had learned that life was not about the destination, but about the journey itself, the people you met along the way, the experiences you shared, and the love you gave and received. He knew that there would be more challenges ahead. That was the nature of life itself, but he also knew that he had the strength, the resilience, and the love to face whatever lay ahead. And he knew that, no matter what, he would always keep moving forward, one step at a time, towards a future filled with hope, purpose, and endless possibility. As the soldier and Maria's lives continued to evolve, they faced new challenges and opportunities at every turn. One of the biggest changes came when they found out that Maria was pregnant with their first child. At first, the news filled them with a mixture of joy and trepidation. They knew that becoming parents would be the most rewarding experience of their lives, but they'd also worried about how they would balance their growing family with their commitment to serving the veteran community. But as always, they faced the challenge head-on, leaning on each other for support and guidance. They started to delegate more responsibilities within Homeward Bound, empowering other veterans to take on leadership roles and drive the organization forward. They'd also made sure to carve out time for themselves and their growing family, taking weekend trips to the mountains and the beach, and cherishing quiet moments together at home. When their daughter, Lily, was born, the soldier felt a love and protectiveness unlike anything he had ever experienced before. He marveled at her tiny fingers and toes, her soft, downy hair, and her bright, curious eyes. From the moment he held her in his arms, the soldier knew that he would do anything to keep her safe and happy. He promised himself that he would be the best father he could be, and that he would always be there for her, no matter what. As Lily grew, the soldier and Maria worked hard to create a loving, nurturing home for her. They filled their days with laughter, imagination, and adventure, taking her on hikes through the woods and teaching her to swim in the ocean. They also made sure to instill in her a sense of compassion and empathy for others, bringing her along to Homeward Bound events and teaching her about the importance of service and community. Through it all, the soldier continued to be a leader and mentor within the veteran community. He spoke at conferences and events, sharing his own story of resilience and hope, and encouraging others to find their own paths to healing. He also continued to work closely with Jack, who had become one of his closest friends and confidants. Together, they started a new initiative within Homeward Bound focused on mental health and wellness, providing resources and support to veterans struggling with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. The work was challenging, but it was also deeply rewarding. The soldier knew that he was making a real difference in the lives of those who had served, and he felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment that he had never experienced before. As the years passed, the soldier and Maria's family continued to grow. They welcomed a son, Ethan, and then another daughter, Sophie. Their house was filled with the joyful chaos of family life, and the soldier knew that he had never been happier. But even as he cherished his role as a husband and father, the soldier never lost sight of his commitment to serving others. He knew that his own journey had been a long and difficult one, but he also knew that it had given him the strength, wisdom, and compassion to make a real difference in the world. And so, as he looked to the future, the soldier knew that he would continue to serve, to lead, and to love with all his heart. He would face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and determination, knowing that he had the support of his family, his friends, and his community behind him. He would continue to be a light in the darkness, a beacon of hope for those who had lost their way. And he would always remember the lessons he had learned on his own journey. That life was precious, that love was the greatest gift of all, and that even in the darkest of times, there was always a reason to keep moving forward, one step at a time, towards a brighter, more beautiful tomorrow. As the years passed and the soldier's children grew older, he found himself reflecting more and more on the journey that had brought him to this point. He marveled at the way his life had unfolded, from the darkest days of his military service to the beautiful, fulfilling present he had created with Maria and their family. He knew that he had been lucky in so many ways, lucky to have survived the war, lucky to have found his way back to a sense of purpose and meaning, and lucky to have found the love of his life in Maria. But he also knew that luck was only part of the story. He had worked hard to build the life he had, pouring his heart and soul into his family, his business, and his commitment to serving the veteran community. As his children entered their teenage years, the soldier found himself taking on a new role, that of a guide and mentor. He knew that they would face their own challenges and obstacles in life, just as he had, and he wanted to do everything he could to help them navigate those challenges with grace and resilience. He taught them the values that had guided him through his own journey, the importance of hard work, integrity, and service to others. He encouraged them to pursue their passions and dreams, and to never give up, even when the road ahead seemed long and difficult. And he made sure to model those values himself, continuing to lead by example in his work with Homeward Bound and in his own personal life. As the soldier entered his 50s, he started to think more about the legacy he wanted to leave behind. He knew that he had already made a significant impact on the lives of countless veterans and their families, but he wanted to do more. He started to explore new ways to expand Homeward Bound's reach and impact, partnering with national organizations and advocating for policy changes at the state and federal level. He also started to think about succession planning, knowing that he wouldn't be able to lead the organization forever. He started to groom younger veterans to take on leadership roles within Homeward Bound, mentoring them and helping them develop the skills and experience they would need to carry the organization forward. And he made sure to involve his own children in the work, bringing them along to events and meetings and encouraging them to find their own ways to give back to the community. Through it all, the soldier's bond with Maria only grew stronger. They had been through so much together, the joys and challenges of parenthood, the ups and downs of running a business, the daily work of building and sustaining a loving, supportive partnership. They still made time for each other, stealing away for weekend getaways and long walks on the beach whenever they could. They knew that their love was the foundation upon which everything else in their lives was built, and they were determined to nurture and protect it. As the soldier looked back on his life, he knew that he had been blessed in countless ways. He had faced unimaginable challenges and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but he had emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate as a result. He knew that he still had much to learn and much to do, but he also knew that he had the love and support of his family, his friends, and his community to guide him along the way. And so, as he looked to the future, the soldier felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him. He knew that he had lived a life of purpose and meaning, and that he had made a real difference in the world. He knew that there would be more challenges ahead, more obstacles to overcome, and more work to be done. But he also knew that he was ready for whatever lay ahead, armed with the love, strength, and resilience he had cultivated over a lifetime of service and sacrifice. And he knew that, no matter what, he would continue to live each day with gratitude, grace, and an unwavering commitment to making the world a better place, one small act of kindness at a time.